Okay, what kind of things are you experiencing with children, maybe your own children, around these incidences? Yes,
The
ma'am.
example that I used wasn't necessarily with the mass shooting, but just in my personal experience with my own kids.
Sure.
They were young when 9/11 happened. And of course it was on the news and it was plastered in front of us for days and days and days. And it was years after that we would go out and both of my boys, a plane would go over and they would cringe.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So there's a definite...
They were young, maybe not much discussion at the time, or
No, there was a lot of discussion.
a lot of discussion.
A lot of discussion, absolutely.
Okay,
But still that,
limbic memory.
yes, very.
The limbic memory is still there. She's talking about her kids seeing, even years later, seeing an airplane fly over and flinching after 9/11. So
I was sharing with I have a teen daughter, and I'd taken her to the mall, and she's teeny, and it's kind of like, okay, mom, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's walking away from me, and there was like a loud noise that went off, sounded like a gunshot, and she just came in and grabbed onto me really tight.
wow.
And totally blew me away.
Yeah, so this is an early teen.
Yeah.
Okay, so your daughter at a mall heard a loud noise and
And it was just like that. It didn't
she was
cross
doing the
my mind
teenage,
otherwise.
Mom, I'm okay, leave me
Yeah.
alone. But then here she come, right back for a hug. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's on their mind.
Anybody else? Okay.
Well, I think a lot of times that we were mentioning that, children never get a chance to really, they're hearing these things and some people think, oh, well, they don't know they don't understand what's really going on, or, they never get an opportunity to debrief any of
Right.
it with what they're hearing, what's really happening, as far as they're concerned, like she said that, well, New York, where is New York? Well, according to me, it's right there on my TV, right in my living room. They're not abstract. They don't know the distance. They don't know time frames and things like that.
Yeah.
And they never have an opportunity with anyone most of the time to actually sit and even try to discuss this feeling of fear, helplessness
Right.
that they may be experiencing and don't know what to do with it. And everybody else around them is terrified and scared and all of that as well. And they feed off of that.
Exactly.
So, parents don't realize that their fears and anxieties and that affect their children. Many of them are not as aware that all of that does affect a child. They read it, they know it, there's a disruption.
Yeah, yeah, something's happening in
Almost
my
like
world.
a seismograph on a
Yeah.
earthquake. They know something's wrong. And the parents don't even stop to think that, well, it's because I'm so anxious, they're reacting. So a lot of times they don't get to debrief any of it. They're hearing pieces of this and pieces of that.
Yeah, and don't even know the coherent story,
what
as if there
really
is
is
one.
going on.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else?
Just, when I work in a Catholic school,
Uh-huh.
and we have an open campus. Our campus is really old. And I was remembering that when the Sandy Hook happened, how it affected our children, our student body. We had moment of silence, and we had to do multiple group sessions and debriefing. They were literally just shocked and crying. And then lately, since then, I was sharing with my colleagues here that I think it's been so often. I'm not sure if the older ones, the middle schools, ours go from pre-K3 all the way through. It's almost like if they're desensitized because the news is over and over and over until this one that just happened at
Sutherland
Church.
Springs.
Because as a Catholic school, we go to church once a week, and it's the first time where you heard children saying, are we going to lock the doors? So
Yeah.
like this one really, because of where it was.
Right.
Right.
So, and we had to
That
do some,
awareness.
Yes.
some debriefing, so it's different.
Ma'am, you had a question before the break, or?
Yeah, it was kind of higher. I was just kind of interested in the case study that you had, because with that therapy with the young boy, because didn't you say he was homeschooled initially?
Yes.
Was he able to actually go,
Not that I know of. Okay. As far as I know, the parents continued to homeschool. But they were involved in this community of homeschoolers And there were times when like the kids may get together for a specific day and they had educational things. And so he was becoming more involved in that. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. The community that I am in trying to engage in now, and the government has put a lot of money to try to put trauma-informed therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy into these 12 particular zip codes that are nationally right now in Texas, but particularly San Antonio, a hotspot. And what I am finding, and my chore is to do the adolescent part of this, is that it is a whole community that is numbed and is very violent, very angry, and but yet very mystical against mental health
Right.
treatment. And so there has to be, I think, a driver, because they're not going to be able to afford, to go get this kind of thing. So what, how do we, I think we were discussing, I think that it's first of all, it is generational.
And intergenerational, yeah.
Generational.
Yeah.
And the adults need to be, like they're saying, do the kids,
Yeah, help the kids.
The 14 through the 24-year-olds. But what about the adult 2 generations above that still exist? So you change the child somewhat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who is changing the adult counterpart in the generation?
Right.
So I'm just like, I know it works.
Yeah, and that's a great question. I had some work it was random. It was trauma response intervention, and you don't schedule these, right? And I was part of the team, for example, that would go to banks after a holdup. They would close the bank, meet with the staff. Also with with other tragedies, and it's amazing how across the board people are in terms of their openness to talking about it. You just have to kind of plug in where they are. But it's also a longer term thing. And I think there was a myth about, we're doing some good because we'll send Jones out and he'll meet with affected people. No, the best thing I could probably do is maybe debrief a few people, but get some connections and follow up over time, because they're probably not ready to talk about it that day or next month, but they hit the wall sooner or later, and to know when to talk to. So that is a big challenge. Okay, I'm going to go back to the. Yes, ma'am.
Kids that I treat who are really difficult family situations, they can harm themselves. But the kind of things they see on TV, the blueprints, the kind of movies they see, the kind of games they play, I don't know if we're talking enough about the effect on, especially on the young mind.
Right.
Because trying to debrief from that week after week, finally got the parents and I didn't choke them, but I thought about it. Just, honest to God, there's a trauma. I'd be instigating that. But, I mean, the fact that, I meet some of the kids that have way too much exposure to murders, to suicide.
Exactly.
Violence of almost every kind.
Yeah.
And the parents on something or whatever, and sitting there, and that's the truth of several parents that work with they're out of the house the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the child is there absorbing all of this. And I don't.
It's ubiquitous.
Address that as a society because
Yeah.
it's so broken.
Yeah. It's a big concern.
Exposure,
Yeah.
social media,
All the exposure. Yeah.
I just want to comment what you're saying. Correct. Nowadays, some of it is come back from society as whole to cut back on the type of violence being shown on television. We must start there because, like you were saying, most of the time these kids are watching these crimes and everything being perpetrated on television. They want to go out and emulate. So we as a society owe it to ourselves and to our generation. Hey, look, We're showing too much violence now. Let's modify this. Until we do that, go to the root of the problem,
Right.
we're gonna always have a problem.
Well said. Well said. I showed the picture of Kennedy and myself in the picture. I was sitting at home that evening, and I remember in a dark room with the black and white TV going on, and there's Jacqueline Kennedy and little John standing there as in Washington, D.C., as the coffin's being unloaded from the plane. And my world had gone freakingly crazy. Now that was back in the days when school, the bell would ring 3 times. That meant file in the hallway, get down next to the wall, duck and cover. It was under that administration that we thought we were going to be wiped out by Russian missiles, right? And believe it or not, last year on the anniversary, that started coming up for me. And it wasn't just that experience, it was all that was going on in my life. And I had some trauma that I was experiencing. It was all in pieces. But for some reason, at age 62, my brain decided to put those pieces together, okay? And it just brought together. Now, I've had a lot of talk therapy. I'll tell you what I did. I've done a lot of neurofeedback myself, but I found a trusted colleague, somebody I didn't really know that well, but from a distance, and I got into EMDR. And wow, it took the wind out of the sails of that trauma. And now I've been doing therapy, and it's mostly, we're just talking, trying to put the pieces back together of how those experiences affected me at different junctures in my life. So when we're talking about kids today, there's a trajectory that's going out way into the future. And if we can intervene, we're changing that whole outcome, right? Now mine is not as bad as Alex, all right? But it sure caused me to lose some sleep, right? But no matter what level, those earlier interventions are going to pay off. And it's going to be a societal effect, right? Because imagine in Sutherland Springs, all those families connected, and how those connections just go out all over the country, right? And so anyway, it's a wonderful work that we do as therapists, just keeping that long-term view in mind, right? So bless you for the work you do. And that's my presentation. Okay, thank you.